Hello friends, welcome again. Friends, in today's video lecture, we want to discuss English as an international language, English as a global or the world language. Friends, we all have been speaking English language no matter whether it is a field of science and technology, whether it is a field of trade and commerce, whether it is the field of education or medicine. In almost all the fields of knowledge, we all have been using English language in today's world. But have you ever wondered what are the possible reasons behind the success, behind the popularity of this language? Because, friends, in today's times, there are thousands of languages already spoken in this world, but why only English has become such an important language? That we want to discuss in today's lecture. So friends, now let's begin. Friends, remember that English has become a lingua franca of the people living in the 21st century. Lingua franca means the common language adopted by the two speakers whose mother tongue is not English. So English has been the most popular lingua franca or the common language on international level. In today's times, more than 360 million, that means 36 crore people are speaking English as their first language, and more than that, non-native speakers, means English as a second language, is spoken by more than 43 crore people. So you just imagine how popular this language is. In today's times, there are some other important languages which are very popular along with English, and they are Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, French, and so many other, Italian, Spanish, and all. But still, English comes on the first rank as far as the speakers of this language is concerned, as far as the popularity of this language is concerned. Now, 21st century is the world of globalization. We are living now in a small village. You can say the world has been converted into a small village because of the effect of globalization. Internet and mobiles have made this world a small village, have made communication easier in comparison to the previous century, right? In the field of science and technology, in the field of business and trade, in the field of medicine and education, everywhere, if you want to get some knowledge, if you read some research articles, they are available only in English language. And friends, remember, if you don't have the knowledge of this language, you feel helpless, you feel handicapped, okay? And if you have knowledge of this language, then it opens up a new world, a world of information for you people. Now you can just have a look at this world map. The countries or the geography which is colored, right? These are the countries where English is very popular, right? So you can say almost half of the world has been colored with the colors of English language. Whether people speak English as their first or second language, but English is spoken in all these countries. English has been officially or unofficially used in all those countries. Now the question is why? Why English has become a global language? There are total 8 reasons that I am going to discuss in today's lecture. The most important among them is adaptability or receptivity of English language. English has this characteristic, this feature which adapts, English language adapts in any culture, in any society. This is in fact the most important and outstanding feature of this language. English right from its birth, if we talk about the origin of English during the 5th and 6th century, right from that time, English has been receiving hundreds and thousands of words from all different cultures of this world, from all different societies of this world. English, when it comes in touch or in contact with some other societies, other languages, it receives the words from that other language very easily. Not only this, English receives vocabulary, that means morphology, and also phonology, phonetics of other languages. As a result, what happens that English has become a hotchpotch, a mixture, an amalgamation of all different languages of the world, and that makes this English language a flexible language, okay, and this makes English an easier language for the new learners to learn this one, okay. This is one reason. Second important reason is the world wars. Friends, if you read the history of 20th century, then you come across two world wars, one in the beginning of the 20th century and one towards the end of the first half of the 20th century. After the World War, when the First World War was over, different countries led by Britain and led by Britain and led by United States, they made one organization, okay. It brought in more of English influence in this world. These two countries, Britain and America, now which language was spoken there? English, okay. They led the whole army of other countries, and the Treaty of Versailles was signed in English and French language only, okay. So that makes, again, during the 20th century, it makes English an important language. The same thing happened after the Second World War, okay. It boosted the US economy, and America became the superpower, the world power, and in America, English language is the one which is spoken. After the Second World War, the United States of America, as I told you, became the richest country on this earth, okay. Again, Britain and United States, they came together to make this language more popular, and because America was influential in matters of trade and commerce, and English was used by America, that's why English became popular during the first half of the 20th century. Third important reason is migration. Migration, friends, means when people or one community moves from one place to the other, okay. Now, if you remember, in one of my previous lectures, we discussed the origin of English language. We discussed how English language came into existence during the 5th and 6th centuries. That time we discussed that English came into existence with the migration of the Celtic people, the first one, okay. Then the Angles, Saxons and Jutes. These three communities migrated to England, and the hotchpotch of Celtic dialects Angles, Saxons and Jutes, all these four communities mixed together to give birth to a new language which was known as Anglo-Saxon English or Old English language. And that, what is the reason behind the birth of this language? The reason is migration of some communities to England. So migration into England and from England is also another reason. Okay, like let me tell you about the 19th century. During the 19th century, England colonized some parts of America. Okay, so some Britishers started living in America, and Britishers were speaking English. So now English was spread through migration of Britishers to America. Okay, so some migrant people, they came from many English speaking countries into America. Okay, not only this, after during the 19th century, another thing happened, that in England some other migrants also came to live in Britain in order to find out a better job. Now, because they wanted to get a job, they had no other option but to speak English language. So, other non-native speakers, those who were not speaking English as their first language, they came to England, and they came to England in search of job. Okay, and they started speaking English language. Okay, so migration has also been another important reason why English has become such a widespread and popular language. Another reason is the disease plague. Friends, you must have heard about this very terrific or dangerous disease plague. In 1348, the Black Plague hits Britain, right? And this gives birth to the migration of hundreds and thousands of people from Britain to some other countries. Okay, so many thousands of people died in England during the 14th century, between 1350 and 1550. During these 200 years, about 65,000 migrants moved to England to make up for the lack of laborers, because British, the native speakers of Britain, they either went away, they left their country, or they died. Okay, so there was a lack of labor in Britain. So as a result, as I told you earlier, some migrants came to England and they started speaking English language. Another important reason is the spread of Christianity. Okay, actually, let me tell you, Christianity came to England in 597 AD, right, towards the end of the 6th century, and this brought about hundreds of Latin words into English language. Why? Because the earlier in those times, Christian missionaries, they were using Latin language. Later, English became the standard language of Christianity. And then what happened? After 17th century onwards, English became the standard language of the Christians, and wherever the Christian missionaries went to spread this religion, they were spreading their language also, right? So this is how English became popular through the spread of Christianity. But the most important reason, according to me, is colonization or imperialism. Now, what is this colonization? Colonization is the process of making colonies. Friends, in your history, when you were studying in schools, you must have read about this, that Britishers, they went out of England and they went to America, they went to Asia, they went to Africa, went to Australia, different continents of the world, and they started making colonies, right? Making British colonies over there. They started living there, they started using the resources of those places, and they started doing business. The same thing happened with India also, right? Britishers came to India with a view to do business, but instead of that, with business, they started ruling the people of India, right? And the power, let me tell you, David Crystal, who is an important, a very popular linguist, he says that a language becomes a global language. Why? Because of the power of the people who speak it. Means when the people are powerful and when they speak English, naturally English is spread around the world. Why? Because other people, they follow the powerful people, right? So the power of English was initially spread through colonization. As I told you, the countries like India, Philippines, Africa, America, some of the Caribbean islands, Australia, all these countries were ruled and politically controlled by the British colonizers, British people, British rulers. Okay, they made hundreds of British colonies with white man's burden. White man burden is a kind of a line which you find in some poetry, but white man's burden is what? They believe, the Britishers or the white people, they believe that it is our responsibility to move around in this world and to civilize the whole world in our own manners. So they thought it as a responsibility shouldered to them by the God. Okay, so a new philosophy, or you can say a new psychology, entered in the minds of the people living in those colonies. What is that? They received this psychology that whites are better, okay, whites are superior, so we must follow the white people. And remember friends, the white people, that means British people, they were speaking English language, and just the same thing happened in India also. In India also, we tried to follow the British culture, the British language. Okay, why? Because we feel that whites are better. So that is another reason. During the 20th century, if I talk about the beginning of the 20th century, another reason is BBC. What is BBC? British Broadcasting Corporation. This is the company which started radio channels in 1922. Okay, they started broadcasting so many different channels all around the world, and radio was a new invention in the beginning of the 20th century. People started listening to English language all around the world. Okay, so radio was the only medium of entertainment for the people during the 20th century, first half of the 20th century. Okay, it was the only means of mass communication. Okay, BBC became very popular among the colonized countries like India, Africa, Australia and other countries. Okay, and people started following the British accent, the British language. Okay, because they believed that English spoken, English which we listen in BBC is the standard language. Okay, another reason during the 20th century is the development of science and technology. Who doesn't know about the fast development of science and technology during the 20th and 21st century? Actually, this journey of science and technology begins from the 17th century onwards. So, from 17th to 20th century, science developed and most of the science journals, research articles, they were written in English language. Why? Because we have some great scientists like Robert Hooke, Robert Boyle, Francis Bacon, Isaac Newton. They published research, their own research in English language only. And that's why English became the standard language of research articles in the field of science and technology. Okay, even when computers were invented during the 20th century, the language used in computer, the operational language used in computer is also English. We all people are using mobiles and internet. There also English has been the most popular language. So this is how, friends, these are some of the important reasons behind the popularity of English language, and English language has become a global, a world language. Friends, if you really like this video, please share this among your friends and classmates, and do subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you might get a notification. Thank you very much.